Oh, this is Grinstar. Today we're going to look at Bitwig 5's note grid here and seeing how it's going to... What I want to do is I want to affect the length of this gate here. To make any note happen for MIDI, you need at least two things. You need a gate and you need a pitch. The gate is the thing that turns the note on and off, and then the pitch tells what note to play, usually like a C3 or something like that by default. And then maybe velocity, and maybe the MIDI input-output port in case you want to have like several devices going on at the same time. You kind of need that kind of information. But we're going to focus on these two. Now, it's currently like single digits in the area that I live, and it's cold, and it's affecting my voice somehow. So I might get to need a cough, and I'm going to try to pause it and do that without interrupting. But at any rate, now that I'm interrupting, I have the note grid connected to Topolymer, and I have one of the default presets, or one of the presets set. So I'm not really worried about the sound that I'm getting. I'm more or less worried about the gates and the length and stuff like that. And that's kind of what we're focusing on, because basically when I was first learning Bitwig back in, I think, the 3-point-something days, maybe the 4.0 days, it was back in 2022, I think. I was trying to figure out how to create longer gates, like more sustains and stuff like that, and I based on what they had and how they had it, there wasn't really anything in there for me to look at. So, like, these gates right here, that's basically what I had and all I had. Back, they had this and this, and then this didn't exist, this didn't exist, this didn't exist. Not really sure about this, and this did exist, but that's the same as this at some point. I think this might be, I don't remember when this got put in, but they didn't have that. So I had a lot of problems with gating and understand how to do gating. And this thing's kind of cool because basically whatever step that you have, that's how it divides up. So right now there's 8 steps. So if I wanted to trigger in the first 8 step of a bar, then I would have it like this, and normally that's what I would do. The problem is that this is only a limited gate, so I'm gonna demonstrate by doing this and hooking it in, and basically every now and then, okay. So another thing about these, another thing that you have to learn, or I have to learn, is that basically when you pop in the note grid, it defaults to 12 voices, and that means it turns off. All right, now. See how the light goes and strobes? Alright, and basically what this does is it only plays when I hit the play button, so that I don't have this playing all the time and being annoying. But basically, the gate is every time you see this thing light up, it's gonna do a gate signal. It's gonna tell the note to play. And so if we watch it, the problem with this is that it does a short burst. It does it only for an 1/8, or maybe I want it to be a 4th. So if we go down here, so those are 4th notes. And it only does it for the existence of the note. Now we could reverse it, and that's what we had to do back in the day is go grab the basically knot, or the knot. And then go back up to 8. And that kind of increases it, but it still only increases it for maybe, say, a bar. Right, and this works, right? I'm not going to say it doesn't. But realistically, there's kind of better mechanisms nowadays. And one of the better mechanisms to do is understanding what triggers that gate. The gate triggers after an actual certain number. So if we go into level, and we go to value, and we go to here, and we go to display, and we say display said value, and right now it's at 0, but if we go up, it just made the gate noise. Why? Because when this gets to 0.5 or 500, 0.500, it starts setting out a gate signal. And that's actually important to know because now we can mess around with numbers. And we got a whole lot of things to mess around with numbers in Bitwig. And a whole lot of different things. Okay, so that means all of these start coming into sense of what we could do for gating, including slopes and steps. So steps would be cool, but again, we're kind of like using this. And the same thing with slopes, to be honest. But all these and every one of these actually could be messed with even more because of this right here. We could go to input output, go to pitch in, and get it to there. Actually, let's go back. Wow, that's kind of cool. Did not expect that behavior. All right, so let's get rid of this if I can. There we go. And let's go with this step module. And the trick is that what we want to do is we want to slow it down. We don't want to that speeds it up, right? And so we kind of don't want to do that. So we want to do things with the phase. And one of the ways we could do it is through the scalar. And this is supposed to slow it down, right? So if we got 2 to 1, that speeds it up. So if we go the other way, it's supposed to slow it down. But it doesn't really. Because I learned that you have to actually turn it off, and then it slows it down. And it slows it down a lot. So this is like half of this original speed. And it's crazy because basically I didn't realize that was there. And that allows us to do all kinds of shenanigans. Like maybe say do step access and do say for every 5 or 6 bars, we can make this run. And we don't actually have to use this anymore. Now that we know exactly what we're looking for, we can use either slopes or steps. So now what we can do is we can control how long this goes and then go, okay, so basically everything that's high level there, that's when we're going to do it. And again, actually I don't like this because that's step-based. We're going to go back to slopes. Because we could do the same thing here. Then we can draw how we want. So we want to do the tool. We go, okay, so you're going to have nothing, and then we're going to increase it every now and then. It's going to gate up here and it's going to go down, but we're going to kind of specialize it to be there. So now this part of it, and that's still kind of steps are it's still kind of doing the same way, but we can control. Now it's going really fast because we forgot to take off the pre-chord. And now we can slow it down for whatever we want, and like 10 times, 12 times, 18 times, or whatever, and slow down the thing. And if I remember right, the rate kind of speeds it back up. Yeah, it does. But you can do a 0.5. And that is really long. You can mess with the timing and stuff like that. Now you have your really long sustains that you couldn't have before. At least I couldn't figure out before. Again, you have your background, your turnarounds, your tricks and stuff like that. But realistically, this is actually pretty cool. And it looks like I barely Yeah, it's on that second step, so I gotta match it. So basically, so we can do it probably this high. And now we have sort of a custom sort of on-off gating thing that's going on with timing so that it goes in. And basically what you could do is you can go into mixing here in this merge thing. And what I like to do is I like to come up with different shapes. And then we could have another kind of signal that goes in and sort of turns it on and off randomly. And this thing follows the same type of thing. So what we want to do is we want to go in here, we want to copy it, we want to kind of want to paste it. You want to slow it down at least 2 times because it's still going by way too quick. And now our notes are triggering randomly throughout this whole time, sort of pseudo randomly, right? We are given a 50% here, and it's going between our 2 different patterns down here, when to pull on the gate and when to pull it off the gate, and so we're having different types of things, and that kind of starts doing the generative type of music type of stuff. And this is kind of where I was going with it, because basically I was still looking at doing the chords that I was playing with my guitar in the last video and wondering how I can shorten them or lengthen them, and trying to think of it, and I was like, well, I get stuck into that part where I'm not thinking about, but at least with this is basically you can do the same thing. And to shorten them, it's actually really easy because all you have to do is like sort of a AD envelope. So no matter what this does, it's always going to be this long. And it may have just messed up. Because I think it's looking for that change at a certain time to go up to the 50%, and then it's just going to cut it short. Hmm. Maybe I have to do it down here. Oh, there it goes. So this is off, and it goes on. And it's like only allowed to do it so long for however the thing is. So that gives us a lot more control on maybe shortening something that's already a bit longer than you wanted to. So I could short it to like more like plucks and stuff like that, or I can increase the attack so it doesn't sound yeah, it takes a while to get up there and do it, so we kind of delay it so that if you wanted to put it on maybe say the kick or something, you wanted it slightly delayed from the kick, you would do it that way over here. And so if you have everything So it's just different ways of messing with the gate and getting it. Also, what you could possibly do, now that I think about it, is kind of pop that in here, in between here. And then only this one will allow the short plucks, but this one will allow the longer sustain. So we either have a pluck or we have a sustain. And it just depending on where this thing is at the time. And then what we could do is we could basically lengthen the time it takes to get around to that part. And so that if we have a long sustain, by the time it loops around, it makes a bigger or longer decision. Is basically we're just lengthening the decision time to whether or not we want sustains or if we want to go with the pluck pattern. We got the truly random type of mess of notes that maybe sometimes play and maybe doesn't. And, it's probably going to take a lot of tweaking, but overall it sets up to ultimately what you want to do, gate wise or lengthwise. Right, you can specify when it happens, and then you can specify how long it happens. So I think that's pretty cool. And one of the cooler things that they've invented in a while that I've gotten around to finally understanding and enjoying what's going on when it comes to gate links and stuff like that. But anyways, I'm gonna cut it off here. Hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and I will catch you later.